characters. I mean, we didn't have that much time to frolic. You know, it just seemed to be, I don't remember spending a lot of time, on Karate Kid 3 I did, spending a lot of time with Thomas Ian Griffin laughing because I kept thinking we were the Terminators, you know. But, you know, it was really interesting to work like that, where everything fit in, and you only did a certain amount of work in your head as an actor because everybody was so appropriate at what they were doing. It all just fit, you know, and, you know, it's got Casablanca. I mean, it just fits, you know.
Well, this is my first time watching it, by the way, and I loved it. It was really good.
You gonna tell your friends?
Yeah.
You should spread the word.
I noticed that you had a lot of like long takes in a lot of it during, notably like at the end fight, there was a lot of long oneers, and then sometimes when Pat and Ralph were talking, was that just from like this was a really good take all through, or was that a choice?
Well, again, by rehearsing and shooting the rehearsal long before you do it for real, you get a chance to refine it in your head. And the longest take, I think, is after the fence fight when Mr. Miyagi is putting the horrible smelling stuff on his face or whatever it is. And that's all one take. And it wasn't really planned that way, but after I got it, I was so pleased with it. I remember calling the producer and I said, you know, I think we can go home. I don't think this needs coverage. And he said, go home. So when, you know, when everything is working, let it be.
All right, I'm gonna ask one final shameless fan question before we say goodnight. I've always wanted to go to a Halloween party dressed as Daniel LaRusso, dressed as a shower. Where did that idea come from?
That came while I was a student going to NYU at night in New York long ago. There, I don't know if it was Halloween or what, but there was an artists and models ball. And that's where I saw some guy with that outfit on, and I never forgot it. And when the script came my way, I said, "Oh, that's where what we can put Daniel in, and we put the props in Mr. Miyagi's shed." So. Subconsciously it was introduced and then it came together, so it was that's where it came from.
I do want to ask, one final question. Since Pat's no longer with us, if you guys have any favorite memories of working with him.
I'll start because I'm glad you mentioned that, because we all miss Pat, and he's so much of the soul of the movie. And when I got the part, I was the new kid on the block, and I saw Pat, and I met him, and I said, you know, if you ever see anything I do, you know, that I could do better, please let me know, and you know, pull me aside. So he called me BZ, I call him Uncle Pat, and we talked all the way up till he passed away every Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we have these long great talks, and just a super sweet guy. But I remember at the fence fight scene, I was doing a rehearsal, and I'm beating up Ralph, but I was kind of doing halfway, and he said, BZ, come here. And he said, you know, when you rehearse, he goes, you gotta give it 115%, man. That way when the cameras are rolling, it's like bread and butter, man. It's like bread and butter. So the intensity of that scene, at least my part of it, came from him really encouraging me that, because, you know, you're rehearsing, you kind of go in half, but he really encouraged me in the rehearsals to go top notch. But that was just one of many stories. He introduced me to great food and just a super sweet guy. And you know, it was great for me was I would be doing my training and doing my scenes with them, and then they'd be in a room doing these magical scenes that I didn't really see, because I wasn't in the room when they were shooting a lot of these beautiful moments between them. But it was always, he was just great. It was great. When I saw the movie for the first time, it was like watching it for the first time, even though I was a part of it the whole way. I was my part, he was just such a huge part. I mean, he's the soul of the film with Ralph. And I wish he was here because you guys would love him. You already do, but you really love him.
He was a tough act to follow.
I always contributed the success of the movie to John and to Robert Camen's writing. And no more than a month or two ago, I had a conversation with Robert talking about the essence of this movie, and without those words, we couldn't have had what we had. And he always said, he said it to me, he says, without the chemistry of the two of them, nothing would have mattered. I didn't agree with him, because I think it's the written word and the direction, and everything else falls into place. But he truly contributed the success of that film to the chemistry of this character Miyagi with this lost boy as a fish out of water. And so I think it narrows down to how adept he was.
Yeah, well, Mr. Miyagi is the surrogate father we all wish we had. How can you beat that? You know, he was, and that from, you know, came out of the end of Robert's pencil.
Just think if you would have cast Toshiro Mifune, what would have happened?
That's right. They brought him all the way over from Japan because he was a big deal. And he didn't speak English, so that made it a little tough. And he brought these beautiful 11 by 14 color prints of how he would look in workingman's clothes and so forth. And I said to Jerry, I said, please, let's give Pat a proper screen test. And he reluctantly said yes, and that's what cinched it. But Pat, I miss him every day. He was a sweetheart, and all these guys, and you know, we just had a great time doing this. Couldn't be more pleased.
Well, thank you guys so much for sharing your stories and movie with us. Cheers. One of my all-time favorites. I've got some steak with you guys. Thank you guys.